Well, welcome everybody. What a surprise, huh? Yeah, a 612 guitar, Harvey Benton. It's one of those things I really never wanted, per se. But, I don't know, I love the sound of a 12-string electric, and the price was incredible on this. I mean, it still is. If you want to hang around at the end of the video, I will go over some of the things I really like about this guitar and some things I didn't like and I changed, like an extra volume knob, which you see there to the lower end of the bout, just below. That's the actual toggle switch for 6 or 12 or both. So we'll talk about it at the end. So this Guns N' Roses song, been around for a long time, and I saw a really good video by a guy named Spedding on YouTube. I ended up subscribing to him. I love the guy. He's Irish, I believe, but I love his accent. I love his attitude. His playing's phenomenal. But he did a great breakdown of why this solo is so incredible and how Slash really hits these target notes. And I will put a link to his video because it's that good, and I really suggest you guys subscribe to him. He's funnier than hell. It's real kind of dark humor at first, but he's just such a great guy. I wish he was my neighbor because we'd have a lot of fun. But anyhow, so I'll put a link below to that. So we're going old school with this lesson. And by that, I mean I've written out some tab. Now, the tab I've written out will include some really, some points that you won't find anywhere else. And that's the lead. There are some octaves in the actual recording of this song that we'll go over. It doesn't happen until the second, I think it's chorus. But anyhow, they really make it sound good, and some other things that they do in the recording. So I've written that out. I did not write out this very beginning of, which is basically Alice Cooper's Only Women Bleed reference. There's actually a pretty good tab on this on YouTube that helped me. So I will put a link to that because I'm not above that. So you're going to have a link to Spedding. You're going to have a link to my tab and guitar, Ultimate Guitar tab of the live version, which is a great breakdown. It's not 100%, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt like I did to learn this. So the live version that they do with the Only Women Bleed reference starts out, I noticed Slash, again, some of the tab I saw was writing this out on the 1st and 3rd string. And again, you know, I researched my lessons and watching Slash play this, he's playing it on the 4th and 2nd, all right? So we're going to speak to the 4th and 2nd note. So we start out at the 12th fret, going back and forth. Then we move down a half step with the 4th string and a full step on the 2nd string. And it's a much shorter interval between the two. I think it's only 4. Then we move down another half step for both. So now we'll be on the 10th fret with the 4th and 2nd. shorter interval. We go down a half step on the 4th and a full step to the 8th fret on the 2nd string. Now, he will go through that, I believe, 3 times until Axel comes in. Might be 5 times. He'll do it. Might be 5, but anyhow, you'll listen to it, you'll hear it. Once Axel comes in, they really only do the vocals for one little measure through before he starts moving down the fretboard. All right. So the way we move down, and again, Axel singing. He will slide in. Actually, when he finishes off, I should mention on that 8 and 9. He'll go to 5, hit that on the 4th string, and slide up to 12. Alright, so you'll hear. So he'll go through that one time and then basically continue down the fretboard to the 6th fret. Axel stops singing and then he keeps moving down, again moving between the 2 basic patterns we have. Now when he gets to that 6th fret, he will move to 5 and keep everything in unison, meaning on the same frets. So we're going to move from 5 to 4 to 3. And it will be 4th string, 2nd string, back to the 4th string, and then slide down a half step. Alright, and then he goes, hammers in and references a C. So we're going to hammer into the 4th string, 2nd fret, then hit the 5th string at the 3rd fret, and then up stroke from the 2nd to the 3rd. Then he goes into an E minor, just a slight pick through of the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string. Then he moves to, at this point, this will be I don't know the exact name of the chord because we've got the 3rd string open, but he will play the 1st fret of the 5th string, 3rd fret of the 4th string, and open 3rd. So he'll go down through and then back through 3 times. So we have this. Then you hit both the 4th and 5th string, slide that up, and then just a C with that 3rd string open. So that is their live intro to this that Slash does. So the rhythm of the song, as far as the 12th string or the initial 6th string, if that's what you're playing, can be a G. E2, once you strum it, then pick through the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then we move to a D, but we're going to arpeggiate it or pick through the chord. So we'll pick the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st for D chord, and then pull off, make it a suspended 2nd, and then pick back through to the 3rd string. Alright, then we come to a C. Now you're going to hit the C root on the 5th string, 3rd fret, and then hammer in the 4th string. And just go back through. There's really not a specific picking pattern. They vary even in the recording. 3rd. kick it in, if you will. All right, so we got a G, D, and C. I'll do that a couple times before they enter with the verse. Now the verse, what's different with the verse from the original Bob Dylan song is he doesn't go to A minor, all right? Guns N' Roses goes from G to D to A minor and then G, D, C. They'll do that 2 times before the actual chorus, which is just your G, D, C. All right? So the picking pattern is really the same. What's really your ear will pick up is the pull off on the second string from the first fret to open before you come back to G. So that's one little thing if you can work into your picking pattern, all right? But then you'll go G, 3 or D, and then back to a C. And if you want to strum this, that's fine. Again, we're just jamming. So the chorus is your basic G to D and C, all power chords. You can add some little embellishments. The octave that you'll hear in the second chorus. It begins on the second measure of the chorus. You will hear underneath the guitar start doing this. Alright, so basically we're going from we'll talk to the 5th and 3rd string. Alright, so we're going to be going from 10 to 9 to 7. Then we're going to hit 7 again, slide back to 5, back to 7, and then we'll hit 5, slide to 3, back to 5, back to 3, and then 3 to 2, back to 3, and 2, and then we end up on a G octave on the 6th and 4th string. Ends it on the 5th and 3rd string, sliding up to 10, and then we're going to slide all the way up 14, back to 12, and then 10. Alright, so the octaves, we'll take it slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the octaves that you'll see. I wrote those out. I wrote the one round of G to D and C of that second chorus, and then those octaves come in. Okay, the first lead, again, there's a lot of technique to this, pre-bends and so forth. I'll play it and then we'll go over it. I'm on the middle pickup. This really has kind of a bassy sound. So anyhow, you can adjust your treble and volume, tone to get a little more bassy, but not quite Sweet Child of Mine. All right. So anyhow, the lead will start out like this. So the lead will start out on the 3rd string, 12th fret, and then we're going to pre-bend on the 14th fret, hit that, release it to 12, and then hit 14 again. Then we go to the second string at 15, and then we do another pre-bend on 14 with the release to 12, and then 12 again with a lot of vibrato. Alright, after we do that vibrato, we're going to slide in on the fourth string from about 12 to 14, and then we will catch 12 on the third string to 15 in the second, slid up to 17. Back to 17 on that second string. Then we come to the 11th. Then we come to the 13th fret of the second string, and we will hit that and then pull off to 12 and then hit it again. That second hit is a bend, basically a full bend up to what the 15th fret would be, that D note. Then we're going to do another pull off from 13 to 12 back to 13. And then pull off to 12 and finally hit 14 on the fourth. And from the top. Start taking off again by doing second string 12, hammering on to 13, catching 15 on the first string, back to that 13, pulled off to 12. Then we take 15 on the second string, slide that up to 17. Then we catch 15 on the first string to 17 bent, and then we'll do 17 unbent, and then 17 bent twice before hitting 15 again. Alright, so from the takeoff, 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, we're going to change positions. We're going to come up here to 20. I use my middle finger, all right, and we're going to hit 20 bent, and then 20 unbent to 19, back to 20, back to 19, and then 20 bent again. Then we hit it unbent, and then 2 more times, catching 17 on the second string. Then we move to the third string, 19 bent and release twice. Then we go to the fourth string, same thing, but we'll release and pull off to 17. And then quickly hit 20 on the second string to end the solo. So, like I said, I've written it out. That'll really help you. But listen to his phrasing. It's just phenomenal. The second solo, I'm going to take it the first 2 measures and then we'll break it down. Alright, I'm just going to stop there. There's just, again, a lot going on here, a little country style even in this. But he starts it out with a nice little intro lick. We're going to start second string 13 to third string 12, back to second string 13. Then we go, and when he does this, you'll hear the vocals say, "Ah, yeah." That's when he starts the solo, because you actually hear the solos. What your mind thinks is when we're to the 14, but he actually starts just slightly before with this 13, 12, 13 to the first string, 12 to 15. Then we're going to take the 14th fret. This is again what you'll hear, a half step bend slowly. Then hit it unbent. Then a bend, release, and pull off to 12. And again another pull off until we land on 15. And I suggest you land on 15 with your ring finger, because we're going to use our pinky here. Then once we bend 15 up with some vibrato, we're going to catch the second string at 15, keeping 15 bent on the second, hitting that again, 15 unbent on the first. Then releasing it and hitting 12 to 15. Alright, so we have this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, kind of catch this 14 with your, on the third string with your ring finger. We're going to bend that up and catch 15 on the second, or sorry, first to 15 on the second. Then a 14 pre-bent and release to 12. Then both 15 and 14 on the third string. Then we're going to catch 15 on the first to second. Alright, then we do another 14 bend up, catching 15 on the second, and throw the first in there too. This is more of a country bend. We'll do that twice. And then you want to release it and pull off to 12. Alright, so to that point, 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, we're going to slide up to the 16th fret of the third string, catching 15 on the second to first, back to second. Then we hit 17 on the first string, bent up, and then 17 pulled off to 15 twice. That kind of ends the second measure. Alright, at that point, what we do is come up to 20. Alright, we're going to pull off to 19, hit 20 again, and then hit 20 bent. Alright, so it's a real signature thing. And then we're going to hit 20, back to 19, and then 20 again, and then we're going to go to 22. He gets way up there, honey. So we got this. So 2 bends, and then once unbent to 20. And then we're going to catch the second string at 22, bend that up, catch 22 on the first string, and then 22 on the second string, release. And then 20 to 22, and then 22, bend and release and pull off to 20, and then 22 to 20. So that will sound like this. Alright, at that point, we're into the last measure of the solo that I've written out. So again, the next part of the lead, really, it doesn't get any easier. But it's definitely one of those things, once you work under your fingers, it all makes sense. All right, so what we're going to do is this. Let me take off from the last 22, bend and so forth. Ends the solo. So again, once we finish, we come to 19 on the second. Once we finish that 20 takeoff with 22, we're going to come to 19 bent, and we'll do that twice, and then 19 unbent. Then a bend release and pull off to 17, and then another 19 to pull off to 17. And hit 17 again. Vibrato. Then we grab 20, and that's on the second string, and then 19 bent up, hitting 20 on that second. 19 is on the third. Then we hit 19 unbent, then 17 on the third back to 20, and then 16 bent. And then again. Sorry about that. Don't you hate spam calls? God, they're irritating. Alright, so we're at 16. We've done a bend and release, and then again a bend and release with some vibrato. Then we're going to hit 17 on the 4th string. Then we go to 16 on that 4th string with a bend and release, and then we'll do it again with the slide to 14. Then we're going to hit 14 again, sliding to 12. Then at this point we hit 10, pulled off to 9, landing on 10 on the 5th string. And that is the solo. So again, a lot of little intricacies with this. Something well worth working on. I really enjoyed learning this song and working up for you guys. I hope that helps. Again, my notes will be available below. We'll talk about this guitar next. Okay guys, so the Harley Benton DC Custom 612. Beautiful guitar. I mean, it comes for 500 bucks. I'm in America. I ordered this through Thumann Music, Thomann. It's $4.99, $7.99 or $79 shipped. So for $579, I got 2 guitars. The guitar came, honestly, it was wonderfully set up. The action was a little high on the 6th string, which I lowered as best I could. I noticed the 1st fret was a little bit high, so I could only get so low. But the so low is equal to what my Gibsons are. I measured the distance, I can't tell you offhand, but I'm very happy with it. So I got it as low as it could go. 12 string I didn't really mention with or mess with. I just checked the intonation, and it was really spot on. So you've got the 12 string, you've got the 6 string, okay? The controls can be a little confusing because it came with a volume and a tone. Here is the pickup switch for the 12 string. So you can pick one or the other or both, just like a Gibson. This other pickup switch is for the 6th string. And again, works like a Gibson, one, both, or the other. And then this pickup switch, again, I bought different tips as you're seeing. is for choosing between one or the other or both. With both, I noticed there is definitely a tone drop between. So I don't really use it much, but you can get some feedback too because the strings resonate when you're playing one neck and the other neck starts picking up the resonance and feeding back. So it's one of those things you just have to experiment with. So I loved it. I mean, honestly, out of the box, you're seeing what I have. The only thing I added was this volume switch. What I found in my personal preference was having a volume separate from each neck, if you will. 6 string from 12. Because the, let's look at Knockin' on Heaven's Door, even Magic Power that I've been kind of working on for Triumph. You don't want a big distorted sound from the 12 string, so it helps to have a volume that you can back that off and then quickly go to the 6 string, which will give you, like I did in the intro to this video, the distortion that you need. So it was really figuring out how it was wired, where the best place to drill through and place a volume pot and wire it for that, which is what I did. I separated the volumes or the necks, if you will, into specific volumes. So this is my 12 string volume. This now is my 6 string volume. I noticed it was really very bassy as far as between the neck and bridge. So I lowered the pickups a little bit on the bass side to get a little less bass volume, but I still had too much. So I switched out on the tone control, which only controls the 6 string, and that's how I wired up, to a different capacitor which gives me more treble. So that's the biggest thing I did to these guitars. It was fun learning how it was wired or figuring it out. If you're not good at that, it might be a thing. Again, if you're going to purchase, you might want to think about taking it to a luthier who can do that for you and put in a separate volume, maybe even a separate tone. There's not a whole lot of room. That's why this volume is so close to this guitar, or if you will, neck selector. I just didn't have enough room to, you know, drill out and put in. I put in a small pot. It's not a full-size pot. It's one I had on hand, but it worked out real well. Again, these are 12 string, or these are foreign made, so they are metric. They are 3.5 millimeter for the tip. If you want to buy new tips, I found 4 millimeter tips, and I used those with a little electrical tape, screwed it on, worked fine. So again, it's one of those things. I made it mine. I made it do what I needed to do. Is it necessary? No. Is it fun? Hell yeah. It's different playing the 12 string so high. I don't stand up anymore, so I can't speak to that. But it's just been a blast to play with. So if you're thinking of purchasing one, those are the options. I did, and I'm glad I did for the price. Well worth it. So that's my opinion. I hope you guys enjoy.